Hello and welcome to another chess game. In this video we are going to cover Magnus Carlsen again. In my previous video I showed you that he really struggled on his first day on the Chessable Masters online tournament. However, in the second day he really bounced back and played a magnificent chess. So in this video we are going to cover his second game against Dubov Daniil. So in my previous video I covered the first game where Carlsen lost. And in this game, Carlsen was really trying to take his revenge. So let's see how the game went. Dubov started with d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, c4, and Carlsen decided to play c6, knowing that Dubov is a really great player of the so-called Catalan. So for a6, Dubov for sure would have played g3 and go for the Catalan variation. So for that reason, Carlsen opts for the c6 order. Now Dubov played knight c3 and e6, and in this position nevertheless Dubov plays g3. But this variation is less dangerous than the other one. Now Carlsen plays knight bd7, bishop g2, bishop e7, castle, and we are playing the so-called Catalan, closed Catalan opening. Now Dubov played b3, b6, rook e1, preparing to play e4 at some point, bishop a6. So now black threatens to take a pawn on c4, and Dubov played knight d2, protecting this pawn, rook c8, bishop b2, very standard moves, and c5. So usually when black manages to play c5 in the opening, then he more or less solved his opening issues and the position is about equal. Dubov took on c5, and knight takes c5 is the so-called novelty, so the new move compared to other games. However, this knight takes c5 is a very logical move. So it allows b4, which Dubov played, some expansion on the queen side. However, it is not that dangerous. Carlsen evaluated this correctly. He played knight ce4. Now white took on e4, and black took back with the pawn. And in this position, these pawns are actually quite weak for white. And for the time being, this e4 pawn blockades the g2 bishop. Dubov decided to play b5 to save his pawns on the queen side. However, after bishop b7, there is a knight square, the c5 square for the black knight later on. And as mentioned before, this pawn pretty much blockades the g2 bishop as well. And also black threatens to play bishop b4, pinning the knight because there is the rook behind it. So for this reason, white plays e3, Carlsen goes bishop b4, and the point behind e3 was to play rook e2, protecting this knight. However, now Carlsen can go further with queen d3. And now you can see that actually black is doing very well, Carlsen is doing very well, and white has to be careful now. So the black pawn is just simply double on the d file and put more pressure on white. So Dubov played rook b1 with the idea that there is this bishop takes f6 and this covered attack to the bishop. So for that reason, Carlsen plays bishop c3. And in this position, Dubov did not realize that he should play for equalizing actually with the white pieces. So he should have just taken on c3, queen takes c3, and then move his queen away, say to a4. And then, the position is more or less equal. This bishop is actually very bad for white. However, Dubov played bishop e3. He wanted to keep his dark squared bishop so that he could have some control over the c5 square. However, his pieces are just too crowded, all these pieces. And this bishop e3 is a really bad move. It forces black to play rook d8, and now there's huge pressure along the d file. And most likely Dubov had high hope for his next move, rook b3, pinning black on this third rank. However, this is actually a blunder. So you can stop the video and try to figure out how to continue with black. So the problem with for white is that this d file is completely pinned, and actually this knight is very much pinned as well. So Carlsen can just take the c4 pawn in this position, because if white takes back, then there is rook takes d1, and yeah, white's position is just collapsing. So that's why Carlsen took the pawn, and Dubov couldn't find anything better than just moving his queen out of the pin with queen e1. So now white threatens to take the black queen, so Carlsen plays queen d5, and I mean, this position is already very, very promising for black, and now Dubov played bishop b4, trying to eliminate this bishop. So a couple of moves ago he had the chance just to take it immediately. Now he wasted actually 2 tempes, he lost his pawn on c4, but now he finally tries to eliminate this bishop, which is a very strong piece of black. However, again, in this position, Carlsen can deliver the final blow, because bishop b4 is actually a blunder. So again, you can stop the video. This move is a lot less obvious than the previous one, so you can take your time. So the problem for the white's position is that he basically has just 2 sort of good pieces, this bishop on b4 and this rook on b3. Otherwise, the rest of his pieces are horrible. This pin is knight, this rook cannot move, the queen is forced to defend the knight, and this bishop is just a horrible piece. And Carlsen, realizing that white's 2 good pieces are the rook and the bishop, he decided to sacrifice his queen for them, and this is actually decisive. So the point is that after queen takes b3, only now the pawn can take, because black knight is still pinned. And after bishop takes b4, black not only has a lot of material for the queen, so a bishop and the knight and the rook, there is this huge pin still along this diagonal. This rook is not moving, the queen has no place to go essentially. If the queen goes to either b1 or a1, the knight would be lost immediately, and this bishop is just nothing, as a spectator of the game. So in this position, Dubov decided to play bishop f1. Carlsen played a5 to, well, just to stabilize his position, and basically showing white that, yeah, you've got nothing to do. You cannot improve your position. If white tries to take en passant, then bishop takes back, and this bishop would come to even more life again. It hits the rook, and yeah, it's just horrible for white. He basically loses all his pieces. So for that reason, Dubov didn't take en passant, but just played queen d1. And now Carlsen simply just played the move h6, showing white that, yeah, you've got absolutely no move to improve your position, and black can just simply at some point double on the d file, rook d7, rook d8, and then take everything on the d file. And Dubov, realizing that he cannot do absolutely anything, he decided to resign. So this is a very funny thing that black plays a move like h6, which absolutely doesn't threaten anything, but just shows white that, yeah, you are completely in basically Zugzwang, you can't make any useful move, and that forced white to just resign. So this was the way Carlsen took his revenge, and as mentioned before, he played a very great chess on this second day, and he managed to even win his group and go on to the quarterfinals. Well, this sums up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, then you can like the video, or also subscribe to my channel to never miss my new videos. And see you in the next video.